We are back, and we are back with the tactical board. I'm channeling my inner Mikel Arteta. I'm about to do a Mikel Arteta on the tactical board, but I am definitely not Mikel Arteta. So this is going to be a very kind of target, very wish version of Mikel Arteta's tactical board. But you're going to take a look at how Arsenal will line up with the new signings. That is Jorginho, Trossard and Kiwior. What are their strongest positions, and also our current lineup and how many changes we can make, and how our bench is looking right now, and are we ready for the next 19 games and hopefully for the next 26 games in total plus the Europa League. How ready are we? So that's what you're going to be taking a look at right now. Again, keep on letting me know what you make of the signings and everything, your rating for the transfer window. But first, let's get straight into it, right? Let's not waste time at all. So this is how our Arsenal lineup has been looking recently. We've been playing with Ketia up front, Martinelli and Saka, and Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard in midfield. That has definitely been one of our strongest points. Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard in midfield, and for them to stay fit has definitely helped us a lot. And then Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and Benoit have been playing at the back with Ramsdale in goal. There has been a couple of changes here and there. There's a time Zinchenko wasn't there, Tierney played there. There's a time we even played Tomias on the left side. There's a time we played Jesus instead of Nketiah up front. So there has been changes in the team, but this is what we've been lining up with the last couple of games, and this is what I expect our lineup to be against Everton in the next game, and potentially against Man City when you play them. So that is how we've been lining up recently. So as you can tell on our bench, I've not written the bench there, but usually with that lineup, our bench usually has Holding, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Tierney, Tana, Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, El Neni, Lokonga. Those are usually the players on our bench. Usually the 9 of them. Sometimes Nelson in his feet. Sometimes Emmy Smith Rowe in his feet. But mostly it's those players. A goalkeeper of like 4 defenders on the bench: Cedric, Holding, Tierney, Tomiyasu, and then 2 holding midfielders in El Neni and Lokonga. We usually lack in terms of attackers, but I feel like we've improved in terms of that. Now, looking at our bench right now, totally different. This is what our bench is looking like right now. All of a sudden, it looks way better. Tana, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Holding, Kiwior, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Trossard. Looking at that, that is 8 players. We still need 1 more on the bench. So when Jesus, Smith, or whoever comes back fast, they definitely will add to the numbers on our bench. Still have to wait and see whether it's going to be Nketiah dropping back and Jorginho starting. But all of a sudden, our bench looks stronger. And for some reason, we have a lot of players who start with the letter T for some reason. Tana, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Trossard. It's like we're signing players starting with T. Maybe that's the secret. So we're starting a lot of quality players on the bench. Yes, some people have said Fabio Vieira is not really settled in. I agree with that. But all of a sudden, the team looks much stronger than it was 1 month ago. And you're looking at our bench when he played Newcastle. Literally on that bench, there was no one who could come and change the game. Right now, Trossard can come and change the game. Hopefully, Jorginho can do the same. Tierney, Tomiyasu can come on for the fullbacks. Be it that Tierney is different from Zinchenko, but so they can definitely help with what we have in the team so far. So let's do this. So this is the squad we have. I'm using numbers because that is what is provided here. And I know Zinchenko wears 34 and Xhaka wears 35, but on this app, there's no 30 and above. So I'm just going to use 24 for Zinchenko and 35 and 25 for Xhaka. Hopefully that is understood. But the rest of the players, Martinelli, Nketiah, Saka's the 7, Odegaard, Partey, Benoit, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, and Tana Ramsdale in goal. So that is how we usually line up. That is usually our team. And on the bench here, you can see the number 9 here. Hopefully you can see that. The number 9 and number 10, Smith Rowe and Jesus, who are going to come back later on. And then the new signings, 15 is Kiwior in blue, 19 is Trossard in yellow, and 20 is Jorginho in red. So those are the ones we're going to use. So usually our lineup is very direct. We know where Partey usually operates. Partey is usually in and around this position here. Sometimes it goes forward and shoots the ball. We know Zinchenko most of the time, Zinchenko he's usually in this position. Zinchenko goes to the midfield position. When Tierney plays, he usually covers this position on the left side. He doesn't really drift in. Zinchenko drifts into the midfield. So whenever that happens, Xhaka, who's our number 25 here, I know you're 35, but usually Zinchenko moves to this position and Xhaka moves to this position, as you saw, especially when he played Man United, Xhaka was here crossing the ball for Nketiah's goal. Now, the thing is, when you're playing Tierney, we can't apply the same tactics. So let's bring on Jorginho to this. Let's bring on Jorginho to this lineup, because that's the first player you're going to talk about. You already know how Partey plays. Partey usually around this role. Sometimes he covers here, sometimes gets in between the centre backs and stuff. So let's remove Partey and let's bring our new signing Jorginho. Let's see what he will do for us in midfield. So that is what Jorginho is going to be. Now, Jorginho, first of all, I don't think he can play in the Xhaka role. First of all, I think he can play, but not as good as Xhaka can play it. As I said, Zinchenko usually comes to this position, and Xhaka usually goes to this position. Now, if Trossard is playing in the Xhaka role, I don't think Jorginho can play on this left side just like Xhaka does. So that is definitely not a possibility. The only way we can have Jorginho playing on that Xhaka role is if we have Tierney on the pitch playing on this left side. So that is something for Arteta to think about. Or maybe he can actually help out or teach Jorginho how to play that role, because Jorginho is used to being here and not around here. But the way we play with Xhaka, Zinchenko goes in the midfield, Xhaka pushes to the left side, so it's going to be very hard for Jorginho to play in the Xhaka role. So it's definitely coming in as a Partey backup. So Trossard has Trossard will come to Trossard later on. So his qualities, he does have some qualities, especially the passing of the ball. Now, Lokonga in midfield, I don't like Lokonga in that midfield position at all. I don't like when Lokonga plays here because, one, he needs some experience. That is the engine of the team. This position here with Partey, Jorginho, and Lokonga here, this is the engine of the team. If your engine is not working, it does not matter how good your rims are looking, how good your interior is looking. As long as your engine does not work, you're going to be in big trouble. So when Jorginho plays in this position, we'll definitely need the likes of, I think they'll work very well with Zinchenko. Jorginho needs players around him to run around him like the way he does for Italy, the midfielders running around him, the likes of Locatelli. They do help him a lot. Even at Chelsea, Kovacic runs around him because Jorginho is not really the quickest. That we know. So I think Zinchenko will definitely help him a lot. When Zinchenko comes to this position, he will do all the dirty work for Jorginho, and it will allow Jorginho to concentrate on playing the ball forward and playing the ball to Xhaka and playing the ball to Odegaard. That is what Jorginho will be doing. I hope he won't be doing too much defensive work. I don't think he's been brought in to do too much defensive work. And anyway, most of the games these days, we have a lot of possession. Like we can actually go toe-to-toe with the Man City, and we usually dominate position against Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham. So usually have a lot of possession. So that is another reason we brought in Jorginho to dominate the midfield here. Whenever, because Elneny is not very good on the ball. If Partey's not there, you bring Elneny, you're not really good on the ball. But Jorginho will do the same thing Partey does on the ball, passing the ball and passing forward and stuff. Jorginho is ahead of Partey in terms of passing the ball forward, long passes. So these passes, diagonal passes to Saka to that side, and these other passes to Martinelli on this side, he's going to do very well in those kind of passes. That is why we'll need Zinchenko here, our number 24, our number 34. We don't have 30 plus here. Whenever Zinchenko is here, it can allow Jorginho to move in and around here and give those passes to Nketiah, long balls to Martinelli and to Saka. Partey does that sometimes, but Jorginho, according to the stats, is better than Partey in terms of doing that. So that is the number one quality he's going to bring. And then if you compare him to Lokonga is not very good in terms of positioning here. Jorginho, with his experience, knowing that he's slow, he will know that he will need to keep his position. Now, you don't want to be playing against Man City, and then you find Jorginho is caught out of position, he's somewhere here, and Xhaka is here, and Odegaard is here, and then you leave this entire position open, you're going to be absolutely screwed. You cannot afford that to happen. That is how you concede goals very easily. That is how we conceded against Man United Rashford. Partey was passed here. The moment Partey is passed, you're in big trouble, because this is where you're being protected here. So I think this guy will help him a lot. Zinchenko will help Jorginho a lot. And I think Xhaka will have a lot of work to do as well, because he covers for Zinchenko on this side, and maybe sometimes he can help in midfield. But in terms of passing and all that, I think Jorginho will be good, and I think he knows how to keep his position. You'll not really find Jorginho here, and the opposition has the team, and you don't have a midfielder here. That will rarely happen. So he's just going to stick here, and the likes of Xhaka and Zinchenko will do all the dirty work for him, and he's going to be giving those passes to White, giving those passes to Zinchenko, to Odegaard. That is what is going to help us with quick football and keeping the position in midfield. So Jorginho, I think, will be good in terms of that. Obviously, as I said, he's not very good in terms of tackling. That is what we think. But according to the stats, it's actually he's been better than Pat in terms of interceptions and tackles and stuff. And that is because he knows how to keep his position. I don't think Jorginho is the kind of player where he will be up against De Bruyne and then you find him here and then he runs all the way and catches up with De Bruyne and makes a tackle. No, he's not that kind of player. Maybe he'll lose the ball here somewhere and very quickly try and get it back. That is Jorginho. That is where we will be seeing Jorginho a lot. Let's speak about the Xhaka role once more. So if we take out Xhaka, we bring in Partey and then we put Jorginho in the Xhaka role. It's going to be very hard because, as I said, Xhaka usually, when Xhaka is on the pitch, let's do this fast. When Xhaka is on the pitch, you usually have Martinelli here, Zinchenko here, and Xhaka is usually here. That is why we've been seeing him here putting in crosses recently. I don't think we can see Jorginho on the left side putting in crosses. I don't think also in terms of not being a left foot and everything, I think Xhaka is a bit more agile. If I'm not wrong, it's not really too big of a difference, but I think Xhaka is more used to that position. Like he's even played for us at left back. So if we take out Xhaka once more and you bring in Jorginho, I think the only way we can play like this, if we play like this, you'd have to change his tactics, and I don't think that's a good idea to change your tactics whenever you change your players. Whenever a player gets injured and then you have to change your whole formation and tactics, that means your system is not working. The only time your system is working is even if you remove 2 players and you bring on another 2 players, the system remains the same, the formation remains the same. That means your system is definitely working. So I'm expecting Arteta to keep the formation and system the same. So I really doubt you're going to see Jorginho here at all. This is why you're going to see Smith Rowe and maybe Fabio Vieira sometimes if Xhaka is not playing. And anyway, out of the 26 games, hopefully, that we have remaining, I do expect Xhaka to play in like 25 of them because Xhaka usually starts like every single game. He's a very important player in that team, Xhaka. Like, as you've seen, if we don't have Xhaka in that position, like, I don't know who else can play this role and come to the left back and play as a left midfield and put in crosses and allow Zinchenko to go to midfield. I don't think who can do that. So I don't think we have anyone else who can do that very well like Xhaka. So Jorginho, I'm not really expecting him to play here. Maybe if we are trying to win the game and you're pushing him forward to give the passes and stuff, I don't think we'll see him there. So we are really just going to see him in this Partey role here most of the time. Unless we have a game where we change our formation and play Jorginho here and play him together with Partey and then have, I don't know, if Xhaka is not there or something. And then if we have like a 4-2-3-1 and then have Partey and Jorginho in midfield, then that will be interesting to see. Then if we play this formation, I don't think we can also have Zinchenko on that team. Maybe we'll have to bring in Tierney, but that is for Arteta to think. I'm not an expert like Arteta. This is just a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. It's not I'm not a tactical genius or anything. I'm just from what I've seen. So maybe we can play a 4-2-3-1 and have Partey together with Trossard with Jorginho. Again, maybe I'm also thinking maybe there's a game or the last 30 minutes of a game where we'll see all 3 of them on the pitch, especially if you're playing against a team that is very, very, very strong in midfield. We might see all 3 of them in the same team together. Maybe Partey there, Jorginho there, Xhaka there together, all 3 of them. If you're playing against a team that is very strong in midfield, let's say we go to the Etihad and we have a 2-1 lead or something, I would not be surprised if you see all 3 of them on the pitch at the same time, just to win the midfield battle and try to protect the defense. But I think Jorginho will do well than he's going to do poorly. Yes, sometimes in some games, sometimes, or maybe once in a game or something, you will potentially see him being overrun in midfield. Maybe if Xhaka is forward and you lose the ball somewhere here and it's 2 against 1, maybe Jorginho won't really help you in that. So that is why I think Zinchenko will really have a good relationship with Jorginho, because he's the one who's going to be here. And Zinchenko loves running around. Against Man United, I saw Zinchenko here. I saw him here. I saw him here on the right side. I saw him as a number 10. I saw him as a right back. That is how good Zinchenko is. So as someone said in an earlier comment, the balance is good. I think the balance is good as of now. Obviously, you would have wanted someone like I said as well in the team to help around here with the tackling and stuff if Partey is not there. But according to the stats, Jorginho is basically almost the same thing as Partey in terms of tackles, interceptions, and passing the ball in midfield. They're basically the same thing. So that is how Jorginho will help us in the team. In terms of let's talk about Trossard. We know Trossard is going to cover for Martinelli most of the time. I think Trossard is basically the same thing as Martinelli. I don't think he's going to struggle at all. He's going to have to create a relationship with Tini and Zinchenko behind him, or Xhaka. And from what we've seen so far, I think he's done very well with Odegaard. The passing with Odegaard has been great in the 2 games. And I also think he put in like 2 or 3 crosses from Nketiah that day. I think he does very well, getting on the byline and crossing the ball. I think Trossard does not struggle with that at all. Now, what you have to wait and see is, what if Martinelli is playing well and Saka is not playing well? Are we going to see Saka being the one subbed off and Trossard playing on the right side? We've not really seen Trossard playing on the right side that much, but that is going to be something interesting to see whether he's going to. I mean, he can do the same thing. He can go back and forward as well without any problem. But the thing is he as comfortable as he is on the left side, turning back to his right foot and shooting the ball? I don't think he is. But that is why, again, just like Xhaka, I think Saka will feature a lot for us. I think Saka and Xhaka are the ones who are going to play most of the games between now and the end of the season, because we don't really have anyone who can do the exact kind of job they do. And also, mostly because of that, we don't really have anyone who can do the exact kind of job. So I think we are going to be seeing Saka playing a lot here, and Trossard being the one subbing Martinelli. And it's not just from the bench. I think we might even see Trossard starting a couple of games and Martinelli being the one from the bench, and Trossard helping us in that situation. Maybe if Nketiah and Jesus are both missing at the same time, I think we have a better chance of seeing Trossard up front than Martinelli. And this would be a very quick team. I think Nketiah and Jesus are quick themselves, but with Trossard, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka, this will be a very, it's going to be a quicker team. Like the ball will be on the floor most of the times, probably potentially no crosses into the box. This will just be a passing kind of game between all of them, between all 4 of them. But that is only if injuries occur. Trossard is going to come and cover for us on the left side most of the time. He's going to come and help Martinelli out. Or even if Fabio Vieira is not there, or he doesn't fancy Fabio Vieira in that game, we could easily have Trossard playing in the Odegaard role, and Odegaard being on the bench, and Martinelli back in. And then we could see this maybe if we have all 3 of Xhaka, Jorginho, and Partey on the pitch, then we could see Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka up front. That is a possibility. That's something we could see. But Trossard is mostly going to feature on this left side. I'm expecting Nketiah to start most of the games until Jesus comes back, and Odegaard will definitely start most of the games as well. For Saka, the only person who can play there apart from Trossard, and Smith Rowe would be so good if he comes back. Smith Rowe is better on the left side, but if Saka is tired, he can definitely help out on the right side. But also Fabio Vieira can help on this right side as well. Even Jesus himself, when he comes back, he can also play on this right side in place of Saka, maybe for a game or maybe for a few minutes, because Jesus, he played there on the right side when we played in the preseason especially. Jesus played on the right side for a couple of games, and he did well because he does have the pace and he does have the ability of running with the ball and getting past players. The dribbling is there. So that is what you're potentially going to see. But Saka and Xhaka are definitely going to be in this team a lot. Odegaard could be subbed off for Smith Rowe. He could be subbed off for Fabio Vieira, no problem. So that is what Trossard and Jorginho are going to bring to the team. Those are the positions they can help us in. And then what about Kiwior? So especially in the Europa League, I think we're going to see Gabriel and Saliba in almost every single Premier League game. But Kiwior is going to help a lot in the Europa League games. So the thing that you're definitely potentially going to see is Kiwior playing next to Odegaard. Odegaard is definitely not a defender. If you do that, you're going to lose. Kiwior will play next to Holding. That is what I wanted to say. Or play next to Saliba. Or could we see, I'm not sure if we could see this, could we see Kiwior playing on the right side and Gabriel on the left side, 2 left-footed centre-backs? I don't think we're going to see this unless Saliba and Holding are both out and you really need Ben White on that right side. If Saliba and Holding are both out, I think what we are going to see is Kiwior and Ben White as the centre-backs. That is what you're going to see. And then maybe Tomiyasu on the right side. And then White is one of the best players in terms of durability. Like I remember when he was at Leeds, he played like all 46 games in the season, and before we signed him from Brighton, he played all 38 Premier League games. So Ben White is very good in terms of that. He doesn't pick up yellow cards. He's never he's never having to watch out for suspension and stuff because he's on 4 yellow cards or 9 yellow cards. That is not really Ben White. So especially in the Europa League, we're going to see either Kiwior and Saliba or Kiwior and Holding. I would like to see if you're ever going to see Kiwior and Gabriel, two left-footed centre-backs. I mean, we do see two right-footed centre-backs usually, but I think with left-footed centre-backs is quite different. But Kiwior himself, he can also play as a central defensive midfielder if things get so bad and you have a lot of injuries. He can also come into midfield, but that is not why we've signed him. We've mostly signed him to help out Gabriel on this side. And if Zinchenko and Tierney are all out and Tomiyasu is also out, then we can see him as a left back. But then again, that is if you're cast. If 4 players get injured, if Tierney, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu will get injured or get suspended, then we could see Kiwior here, but Kiwior is mostly coming to play here next to Saliba or next to Holding, especially in the cup competitions. If the game is done, we have a 2-goal lead, 70 minutes, Gabriel is on a yellow card, you take out Gabriel, you bring on Kiwior. Usually don't bring out Gabriel because I guess he looks at it and he's like, take out this guy and bring on Holding in that position. That is not possible. So that will be interesting to see. But it's going to be very good to see how Jorginho does here, how Trossard does here, and Kiwior does here. Now, yes, Jorginho can play in the Xhaka role, but the way we play with Zinchenko coming in midfield and Xhaka going to the left-back position, I don't know if Jorginho can do that, especially because of pace as well. It's going to be very hard for him to do that. I know Trossard can play on the left side as a striker, as a number 10, and also in Saka's position, but mostly he's going to come here because he loves cutting in to his right foot and shooting the ball. And Kiwior as well, he can play different positions, but mostly as Gabriel's backup. So hopefully that is good enough. I'm not a tactical genius. I'm not Mikel or anything. I'm not going to explain with I mean, Arteta can come and explain with these things. Arteta can come and tell you, Zinchenko, move here. I'm not Arteta. I cannot do all this. But we know how they play. We know how our players play, and we know how Trossard, Jorginho, and Kiwior play. So let's see how it works out. So if you take a look at how we could line up in the Europa League against maybe in the last 16 or in the second legs, if the first legs are done, or even the first leg, this is how I expect us to line up in the Europa League games. So that is assuming Jesus is back. So Turner will be in goal, Tierney, Kiwior, Saliba, and Tomiyasu at the back. We also have the option of playing White and Gabriel in centre back, and maybe Kiwior and Gabriel if he wants to go for 2 left-footed centre-backs. I think Jorginho will play in the Europa League next to Xhaka and Fabio Vieira, or maybe even Odegaard. Odegaard is the other one who can play every single game with Xhaka and Saka. And then Trossard, Saka, and Nketiah will also play. Now, Jesus could also play instead of Nketiah, depending on how he's recovered from his injury. But as you can see, we will rest Martinelli, we'll rest Odegaard, we'll rest Partey, White, Zinchenko, Gabriel, and Ramsdale. But we can't really afford to rest Xhaka, Saka, and Saliba as well. We'll have to. Yes, we can play Holding, but I guess in the Europa League, especially the fact that you can end up coming up against Ajax or Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, those kind of teams, you can't rotate your entire team. You have to play a couple of first-team players, and that is where Saka, Xhaka have to play. Now, on that bench, if we add Smith Rowe, you add Jesus, and you add Nelson, all of a sudden Saka doesn't have to play, and things look way better than they looked a couple of months ago. So I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy with how our team is looking like. As you've seen, our bench looks way better now. We'll now have players like Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Trossard on the bench with Kiwior. It's not going to be the end of the world. They definitely help us more than what we have. Listen, it would have been great to add another midfielder. Yes, for sure. If you have the choice of taking both Partey and Xhaka out and bringing Caicedo and Jorginho at the same time, or Tielemans and Jorginho at the same time, that would be great. But I don't think we'll have that option. This is the team you're going to have. These are the players you're going to have to depend on, plus Smith Rowe, Jesus, Nelson when they come back. That is going to be the team you're going to depend on. And I think it's a good team, really. I mean, you can rotate the fullbacks, you can rotate the centre backs, you can rotate the midfielder, you can rotate Odegaard. If Smith Rowe is fit, maybe you can rotate Xhaka depending on the game. You can rotate Martinelli and Nketiah. I think things are good. And next season, assuming the likes of Cedric has already left, assuming they're going to live on a permanent deal and stuff, and then you add, let's say, Declan Rice to that team and another forward player and stuff, things will look good. But this is definitely not a tactical genius video, but hopefully it has helped a bit to see how we are going to line up with Trossard, Jorginho, and Kiwior, how they're going to do at Arsenal. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they can do well. Ake says, how are you doing? I'm doing good. What weather is there? Jorginho is a perfect transfer to balance the midfield. I agree with that. Let's see. And Xhaka wears 34, and 34, and Zinchenko wears 35. Is the opposite, yes. When 35 enters, we normally play back 3, 6, 5, 4. That is why you see all that. Let's leave Arteta to do that. All that 6, 3, 4, 2, 3. That is Arteta's job. It's difficult to mark our attack. One plays always free, either 8, 34. I'm using numbers, not names. So when 35 enters, we normally play a back 3. Yeah, that happens. I know what you're saying. I know you mean like when 35, that is Zinchenko, is on the pitch. We usually play like with the back 3. I know. Let's bring back Gabriel. I know Gabriel does go here, and then Saliba here, and like Ben White here. I know that is what you mean. Like they spread out a lot. Hopefully we don't lose the ball like in that situation, especially these positions being free here. That will affect us a lot. But these days, luckily, the thing that we have players who are quick in terms of defenders. Our defenders are quick, so I'm not really bothered about that. I know what you mean. But again, Xhaka does play as a left back sometimes. When Zinchenko is on the pitch, Xhaka does come here and play as a left back sometimes, and then he pushes forward, especially against Man United when he put in the cross from Nketiah in that game. He was here a lot, but I get what you mean. We usually play like a back 3 when Zinchenko is on the pitch. You could call it a back 4 or back 3, depending on which game you're playing. I don't think you can commit that much, especially like if you're playing Man City away or something. It works though. As you can see, we've built a team that is genius. Like playing all this guy moves here and this guy moves here. You cannot play that if you're new to that team. You'll have to understand the system. So it helps that our players are coming from the Premier League. Like if you were getting a player from, for example, Burnley right now, we would be in a lot of trouble because to adapt to all this, we need to switch to a back 3. And Jorginho sometimes will come here to collect the ball and push forward with it. Like it's so difficult, and it's been working. I mean, other teams have been so unable to defend us, and in the first 5 minutes, Odegaard and Saka absolutely rip apart teams. Odegaard and Saka usually rip apart teams in the first 5 minutes, the two of them especially. The other teams usually do not know what to do at all. And with Partey there, and hopefully Jorginho can do the same thing as well, that will help us a lot. So I get what you meant, Stanislas. I appreciate it. Tiga, thank you, says Ronnie. I would keep Nketiah. I started Trossard and put Martinelli in the middle. I don't think we'll see Martinelli in the middle, mostly because Jesus is coming back and Nketiah is there, and I think Trossard will play in the middle ahead of Nketiah. But that is a good thing to have in your team. The fact that you can have Trossard as a striker on the left side, the fact that you can have Xhaka playing in a back 5 or in a back 3, or you can cover for Zinchenko on the left side or go push forward for the number 6 position or number 8 position, and we could have Partey in the number 6 position and Jorginho there as well. We could have Ben White as a centre back. We could have Saka pushing to the left side instead. It's very good to have those kind of players. I remember very well, not even long ago, Ozil. Yes, sometimes he played as a right winger, but Ozil was a number 10. You wouldn't ask Ozil to play as a number 6 or play the Odegaard role here. He'll be outrun. Like with someone like Ozil, you have to play in a 4-2-3-1 with 2 players behind him. Otherwise, it'd be in a lot of trouble. But you're getting players who are very agile around the pitch. Jorginho might not be that kind of player, but the players that we have around him are going to help him a lot. Let's see. Thank you for watching, Emmanuel. This year is Arsenal's year, says Stem. So with this kind of tactics and formation that we've built right now, that is why even if we play Barcelona and Man City right now, I'm like, we are going to win that game because we have good players who can play that role very good. Maybe that is why we finished 8th the last 2 seasons, because we had players like Mustafi who could not really play what Arteta needed him to play. We had maybe El Neni as the only option in midfield, and Sabias was there as well. And all these players, maybe they didn't really fit the system. Now the players that we have, at least 90% of them fit the system. Especially Zinchenko. Zinchenko fits the system absolutely fantastic. Mostly Xhaka, Zinchenko, the two of them, Odegaard as well. The three of them fit the system absolutely fantastic. And then you add Martinelli and Saka, who are very quick wingers, who can help you defensively as well because of their pace and stuff. That helps you. That can help us a lot. How are you, Cookie? Rice has to be a summer priority in my view. Happy with Trossard and Kiwior, though. Both, I think, will really help the title charge. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you guys for watching. We definitely have a better team than what we had 1 month ago. And with Jesus coming back there, especially the fact that Jesus usually, let's bring in the number 9. Jesus as a number 9, Jesus is usually here. He's usually here taking the ball, fighting against midfielders and defenders, and he gets the ball and he has a very good understanding with Martinelli. It's like they've been playing together for like 5 years. Jesus is very good in terms of giving the ball like this to both Saka and Martinelli. They worked very well. So there's that as well. So I cannot wait for every player to be fit. I'm really looking forward to the test. We have some really tough games coming up. Obviously, I want to see how we do away at Newcastle. They usually beat us at their place. So the last couple of seasons. Let's see how we do at their place this time. I want to see the 2 games that I really want to see: Man City home and away, and also Liverpool away. Every time we've gone to Liverpool, we have absolutely been trashed. 4-0, 5-1. This season, I cannot wait to see how we do with these tactics with Zinchenko and Xhaka and Jesus and Trossard running here and Jorginho in midfield and Partey. I really want to see how we do it at Anfield. Usually we go there with a slow Lacazette in attack and Aubameyang on the left side as a winger and Bellerin on the right side. We usually go there with weak teams. This time you're going there with a very strong team. So I think that not winning at Anfield since 2012 is going to change as well this season. It's been a long time since Arsenal signed 3 players in January, since the 8-2 defeat in 2011. Oh, that was a terrible game, Mohammed. I still remember it very well. I still remember why I was watching that game. Painful. And I watched it all. I watched it until it was 8-2. Painful days. Who's wearing the number 5 jersey for Arsenal? So that is Partey. So this is Ramsdale as the number 1. Zinchenko wears 35, but there's no 30 plus here. So I've given him 25. I've given Xhaka 24. Usually wears 34. Saliba is 12. Ben White is 4. Odegaard is 8. Jesus is 9. Ketia is 14. Saka is 7. Trossard is 19. Kiwior is 15. Jorginho is 20. Thomas Partey is Thomas Partey. Have I confused? Have I confused anything? Yes. Thomas Partey is 5. Gabriel is 6. Yes, that is the one. Gabriel is 6. Thomas Partey is 5. But I hopefully you still understood what I meant with the tactics and everything. So Partey is 5. Gabriel is 6. And Jorginho is 20. I'm definitely not good in numbers as well. It's just because I'm used to this squad. I am definitely not good with numbers. Squad numbers. I know some people are really good in terms of remembering squad numbers. I'm not very good at that. It's just because you have a connection with all these players and all these numbers, and you know which one wears which one and which one does what. Martinelli wears 11. Jesus wears 9. Partey wears 5. Gabriel wears 6. Smith Rowe is the one who wears 10. So those are the ones. Ben White wears 4. But for the rest of the squad, I don't really know who wears what. Lokonga done 100%. Really not surprised VR wanted Lokonga. Hopefully, can change him completely. Hopefully, can help him become a solid midfielder. How's FFP not caught Chelsea? I don't think it exists for Chelsea, man. They spent like 1 billion. Very short for this results. According to our team standing at the moment, I think we can fight enough for the remaining match of the season, and I pray God help us in terms of injury. I think if we lose 2 more games, we can still win the Premier League. Hopefully, we can go by losing like only 1 more or something. It's going to be very hard to be undefeated throughout this season. I still expect us to lose like a couple of games. Hopefully, when you lose those games, it's not really going to damage us and you can bounce right back. And listen, I'd be very happy if we can go the whole entire season unbeaten. But the games are not going to be easy. We have to play Chelsea, you have to play Man City away, Liverpool away, Newcastle away, West Ham away. We have to play these games that usually give us a tough time. But we beat Tottenham twice. We beat Man United. We beat Chelsea away. We've gone to Chelsea, we've gone to Tottenham and won those games. We've gone to Brighton and Brentford and trashed those teams. So I don't see why we shouldn't win against all these teams. Jorginho will be a good signing in this transfer. I would like you to make B team without any player starting in the first lineup. Well, let's try that. Let's try that. So without any first team player starting, let's see. Is this the one? So if you have this, depending on whether you count Nketiah or Jesus as a second team. So if Jesus is back, you can count Nketiah as a second team player. Yes, you can. We have players to fill in the entire team with a whole new 11. We can have Kiwior holding instead of Saliba. We can have Tomiyasu, Tierney, Turner. We could go with the midfield of Jorginho, Smith Rowe, and Fabio Vieira, and we can go with Nketiah and Trossard and potentially Nelson on the right. We can do that. That is a whole new 11. But because of the injuries we have right now, we can't. And also because the kind of game we play with Jack and Saka, it's very hard to just remove everyone and put a whole new second team. The reason I've not done that is because I don't think there's a game we're going to put the whole second team. Unless we win a first leg 7-0, then we might as well put the second team in the second game. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see Xhaka starting every game. I think we're going to see either Saka or Odegaard starting in the same game as well. And we're potentially going to see either Saliba and Gabriel in midfield. But we do have players who can change the entire team. We can have a whole new 11. But that is if Smith Rowe and Nelson and Jesus come back soon. That is the only way we can create a totally new team. So hopefully that helps. We still have 1 hour of the transfer window. Let me see what other news we have. But Cedric is about to join Fulham. Hopefully that was enjoyable. I'm not a technical genius again, as I said, but hopefully that one helps. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.